Let's head to Parliament because it's quite a busy day today. 3 issues on the board. First, Ejura MP Mohammed Brima, who says the report of the 3-member committee that investigated the violence there should have recommended removal of the regional minister. He says the recommendation for the removal of just the MCE is not enough. He tells JoyNews they are dissatisfied with the recommendations.
Investigation, the call which was heeded to by His Excellency the President, instructing the Minister for the Interior to institute a committee for the Ejura Probe. The Ejura disturbances or shooting incidents in the Ejura. The committee has finished its work. They've presented their reports. I can say for now there's a calm in Ejura, but the people have greeted the report of the committee with mixed feelings. And myself, representing the good people of Ejura, feel that the report, the recommendations are okay, but they should have been far-reaching. Because if you look at the recommendation, that calls for the dismissal of the municipal chief executive. We all know that the municipal chief executive does not act in a vacuum. He reports to the chairman of the Regional Security Council, who is the regional minister, who himself admitted that he ordered the deployment of the military. And we all saw that that deployment ended up in casualties, with 2 losing their lives, 1 boy having the leg amputated, and then also 2 other people also getting injured. And so if we are recommending that the municipal chief executive should be removed from office, I feel that the regional minister who ordered that deployment, I call that deployment reckless because when I got to Ejura, I found out that almost every riot control equipment was in Ejura. We had the water cannon, we had my interaction with the soldiers, and the police commander indicated that they had rubber bullets and they had tear gas with them, none of which was used, but rather deployed the army, who went and then recklessly, opened fire on protesters who were even running away on seeing the military. So the committee should have recommended the removal of the regional minister? The committee should have recommended the removal of the regional minister or heavier sanctions meted out to the regional minister. And then I saw the recommendation that the military officer on the ground should be sanctioned. Which of them? Is it the commander? Because if you look at the work of the committee, they should have even invited the military men who were on the ground, but rather those who appeared before the committee are their officers in Kumasi who were not on the ground but only gave evidence based on hearsay. And we all know that evidence based on hearsay are not normally or always factual. And for that matter, they should have even invited the commander who was on the ground now that they are recommending sanctions to be taken against him. If you look at the case in Wa, where even there was no deaths, only 1 person seriously injured, we all saw the kind of sanctions that were meted out, to the extent that even the recruits who have just passed out have been sanctioned in such a way that they cannot even attain a certain rank in their lifetime in the military. So we feel that the reports, the sanctions should have been, the recommendations on sanctions should have been far-reaching, so that everybody will understand. So far, so good. But my problem even with this limited, I would call it limited recommendations that have been, will they be implemented? Because we've seen some before. We saw Iowa's West Wogon Committee. That was an a whole commission. The reports that came.
And we're live in Parliament this afternoon because there's also the minority leader in Parliament, the Haruna Idrisu, who is predicting more strikes and other industrial actions in the months ahead, and that will hugely impact the economy. There's also the bit of purchasing aircrafts for the armed forces. My colleague Joseph Opoku Gakpo joins me with details of those. Gakpo, I'm grateful that you have a lot of updates from Parliament for us. Let's begin with the Ejura recommendations versus the Ejura MP's concerns.
Aisha, good afternoon to you. Since the committee's report was submitted, we've all been trying to probably get copies of it and get a sense of what exactly is contained in the report. The Member of Parliament for the area, Mohammed Brahima, has been seeking to provide some details on what he's gathered are contained in that particular report, including the point being made about the recommendation that the municipal chief executive for the area, who did manage affairs for a number of years, be removed from the position. There's been further development in that regard, with the indication that the municipal chief executive himself has actually withdrawn his application to step into that position again going forward. That's one of the details that the MP makes us understand that is contained in the report, a recommendation that he be removed. He also makes the point that there's a recommendation in the report that the commander who commanded the military team be sanctioned, and he makes the point that to a very large extent these recommendations are not far-reaching enough. He's also a member of Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee, and from what we're gathering at the level of the MPs here, they say they are waiting for the President to then go ahead and make the necessary recommendations and take actions with regards to the reports of that committee, and it's only after that they are at the level of Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee to actually step in. So they are waiting for the President to then respond officially to that particular report, and then the committee itself will deliberate on it subsequently.